Welcome back to AZ Off Grid. It is Tuesday, June 23rd, around 11 a.m. Got some weed eating done. Just some little stuff around here. It was kind of getting on my nerves. Let's see. It's getting pretty warm. It's about 87 degrees right now. I think I forgot to mention yesterday, I washed the panels off. That was yesterday. Come check this thing out. I forget what the heck they're called. Used to play with them when we were kids, but they were much smaller than the ones we played with. Look at this thing. It's just a beast. For comparison, there's my fist. It's pretty big. Pretty neat the way the light shines off of the little fibers in there. Very cool. Okay, so on my first video, I think it was what was it, Sunday? Yeah, I think I was saying that I saw what looked like wheat growing. I don't know that it's wheat now that I look at it better. It might be some form of wild weed, I don't know, but I don't think it's like the standard, wheat that we eat. Just looking at it a little bit more, and it's the first time I've really seen it grow here around the camp ever. But if you kind of go out in different parts, I guess along the driveway, you'll see some under a tree here, and then a couple 100 yards away you'll see a little bit more under a tree. Who knows, it could be from the bird feed that I've been feeding these birds for the last couple of years, and they're just dropping it from the trees that they're sitting in. Who knows, I don't know. And what I thought were poppies growing over by my trees, I don't think they are either. I think the poppies all died off. There just wasn't enough rain. It's been very dry here. Okay, as far as the battery bank issue, I think I may have brought it back from the dead. I've been struggling to get the voltage up on it for the last couple of days now. And let's see, Sunday into Monday, the voltage was at 12.1, and I really had no load on it. So that was the first indicator that there was something wrong. And then on Monday, I had a heck of a time just getting the voltage up above like 12.6, 12.7. And tried to use my solar power to do it. It just didn't have enough to give it the jolt that it needed. So I ended up using the generator through my inverter charger, and I just cranked the amperage all the way up, almost all the way. I didn't go full amperage on it. I just don't want to, I don't know, I feel a little weird about that. It's a lot of current, but pretty close to full. And I hit the bank with the voltage, or with the amperage, for about I don't know, 2 hours, and then I let it off, let it settle down a little bit, and it settled higher than it was before. So and it maintained that. So that told me that they were starting to take a charge. And then yesterday I did it again in the evening, hit them hard with a lot of amperage for a couple hours, and I was able to get the voltage up a little bit higher that time at peak. And then when I let off, I went to sleep and woke up this morning, and the battery bank was sitting at 12.6 before the sun had even hit the panels yet. It wasn't really taking in any solar at that time. I think it was up to like 25 watts just from the ambient light. So I did it again. I hooked the generator up, cranked on it for I don't know, probably about an hour and a half. And I was able to get the peak voltage of the batteries up to like 14.5, which is pretty good considering I couldn't get it over, initially I couldn't get it over 13.8 or 13.9 yesterday, I think it was. So anyways, give it a good jolt this morning, and then I went ahead and filled up the rest of the batteries with the distilled water, and took another half a gallon, I think, to fill up the rest of the batteries. They weren't too bad. That one in the corner was a little bit lower than the rest of them for whatever reason. I don't know. So this one and that one over there consume more water. They don't really consume water. They lose their water faster. Don't know why. Anyways, got the voltage up pretty good, shut it off, threw this into equalize mode, and that was about an hour ago. It started out at 14.1 volts. And for whatever reason, when I first initially started it, this said something else. But now it says equalize, but before it said EQ mode. I just don't think the voltage was quite high enough for it to get into its equalize mode. So once it got up to, I think it was 14.3 volts, then it changed to equalize. So now it's starting to, the voltage is starting to climb. So I think we might have saved the bank. I'm guaranteeing there's been some permanent damage to those batteries as a result of what happened, but you know, as far as longevity, probably shorten the life of them a bit. But if I can get another year or two out of them, that would be perfect. And I'll just go ahead and get another bank. I'm not sure if I'm going to do lithium or what. Sure is a lot of money, and they're from what I understand, they require I think better conditions, so don't let them get too cold, too hot. These batteries are similar. They can't get too cold or too hot, but out here, you know, we've been down into the single digit temperatures and up in the 90s. And they seem to be doing fine. This battery, all of you who have been following my channel for a while, you guys know this battery. That was a battery that came out of my Firebird that I have parked at home, and sat in my garage for several years. I forget what the initial voltage was on it when I checked it last year. I want to say it was 10, something like that, maybe lower, 8. I can't remember. Anyways, I brought it back to life, kind of the same method I'm doing here, but I used a battery charger to do it. Just keep hitting it hard with current for a couple hours. Well, in this case it was a couple days on this battery, and then let it off, let it settle, and then do it again. Anyways, keep repeating that process, and it brought this battery back, and it's still holding. I just hooked these up because this has a voltmeter on it, the battery charger. Plugged it in just to give me a reading, and this hasn't had a charge in 2 months about, and it's still sitting at 12.7 volts. So sitting in here in the heat, still holding a charge. So super stoked with that battery and how that turned out. And it's just a car battery. It's not even a deep cycle battery, but I use it here for power. I power the pump for my washer and dryer, which is behind this silly looking wooden cover here. Anyways, it works pretty good. So I'm gonna let this cook the batteries for another hour, maybe even 2 hours. My goal is to get the voltage up to 14.6, but it's kind of sitting at 14.4 right now. hopefully we can get it to come up a little bit. And you guys probably won't hear it, but these things are bubbling good. Good. Check this out. I don't know if you can hear it. Let me see if I can find one. You guys probably can't hear that. They're cooking. Well, that's as close as I can get the microphone to the batteries, but you can hear them all bubbling pretty good, so that's what I want. That sustained hard bubbling will, well, it potentially would knock off any of the sulfation on the plates, and it helps restore the batteries. And the way I'm doing it right now, the equalize mode, it kind of puts them all back to a like an equal baseline, I guess you could say. Kind of like tuning carbs, multiple carbs on a motorcycle. If any of you know what that's like. Older bikes from the 70s, 80s, early 90s. Actually 2000s as well. I got a bike that has 4 carburetors on it. It's ridiculous. You gotta tune them. It's kind of the same thing. You kind of sync them with the equalize mode. So that's what we're doing. Whoa, 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 whoa. Damn wasps. I don't know why the wasps like this little power room. They haven't made any nests that I can see. I've been looking. They could be behind these wooden panels. But typically they build them all over the sides of this thing, and I end up having to knock them off and step on them. But I don't see them right now. Of course, they could be behind those wooden panels, so I keep seeing them fly in and out of here all day long. Anyways, what am I gonna do? I was watering a couple of trees, and I gotta figure out a place for these blue spruce. Just don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I brought them up here because I think they're a beautiful tree, and they seem to be pretty hardy because they haven't been watered in almost 2 months, and everything in here is dry as a bone. Some of these have died, you know, but these were still holding strong. Some of the needles came off, which is expected, but it did very well with no water. So I initially was thinking about planting them right over here at the entrance to my camp. But my plans have kind of changed, I think. So I was going to put one in there, and then another one over there. But I think I've decided that I want to open everything up around here, like all these trees. I'm going to open up the underside of them, clean them up all the way around the camp, so I can see out across the property a little bit for like wild animals and whatnot. You can't see anything when you're over here because everything grows from the ground up. But you open them up like this, and allows you to see much further across the property, and it just makes you feel like you're less kind of claustrophobic. I don't know, less caged in. So the blue spruce, they're a beautiful tree, and they'd look great right here, but they grow really thick and bushy, and they're going to block a lot of my view. So now I don't know where to put them. I thought about putting them down at the corner of my property, right next to the road, but then I got to haul water all the way over there just to give them a little bit of water until they get fully established. I don't want to do that. Decisions. I don't want to put them anywhere over here because I'm going to end up clearing all these trees out right here at some point later on. And I'm probably going to build a shop right there where the trailer is, that whole area. And then over there's going to be a greenhouse. So don't want to put them over here. And I don't want to put them back here because I want to be able to see back into my property. So I don't know. I think I might put them right over here in this little what do we call it? Coved in area. Trim up these trees a little bit and then put them right over here. And I think they'll look nice. I don't know. We'll see. Other than that, everything's going pretty good. Yeah. Everything's good. This thing's holding up nicely. It looks pretty rickety, but if you saw the way I built it, it's only attached to some plastic pallets down there. But it's pretty solid. It's pretty darn solid. I'll just be curious to see how well it does with the first heavy snow like we had last year. If this is gonna cave in or not, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it's getting hot. I'm gonna go get something to drink, cool off for a minute, and then I'm gonna wait probably till a little bit later to start cutting holes into that, just so the sun isn't directly over top of me, cooking me. And may plant some trees here in a little bit. I still got to transfer the water over, so I can do that. I don't know. We'll see what I get done here in just a little bit, but I got to take a break because I'm getting hot and thirsty. Get back with you in a little. Alright guys, it's about 3:30. I've been kind of chilling out for a while, just trying to acclimate to the heat. It's about 92 degrees right now, which in the shade, it's not terrible. And some of you are probably going, what the hell are you talking about? That's freaking hot. In the shade, it feels great. There's just a slight breeze. It's not bad at all, but out in the sun, you feel like you're burning to death. 92 degrees is nothing compared to where I live. I mean, this is a cool day in the summer. Rarely see it get down to 92 in the summer. So, but where I live, we've got air conditioning. You know, we go outside for a little bit and then pop back inside and cool down in the air conditioning. 70 something degrees, 74 degrees, whatever. There's none of that here. I'm not using AC. I could use the AC on my trailer, but I'd have to really run the generator hard just to cool it down, and as soon as you shut it off, it gets warm in there because the trailers aren't insulated very well, so it's really pointless. I mean, I can hang out in the shade and cool down even though it's 92 degrees. It's not too bad. Alright, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to start cutting holes in this. I've got a couple of vents that I'll show you here in a second. On each of these doors, there's a perfect spot here at the bottom to put in a vent. This whole area right here. And it just so happens my vent is a little bit smaller than that space, so that's a good spot for it. The idea is I'm going to put a vent in this door and a vent in that door in the same space over there at the bottom, and then at the end, the other end there, at the top, I'm going to put in a exhaust fan that's thermostatically controlled, and it'll suck the cooler air from outside that's low towards the ground in, and as it makes its way to the back, the fan in the back, which will be up at the top, will carry the hottest air out and suck the coolest air in. You know, basically convection. And I think it's also going to work out me putting the vents on the very far ends of the door, because that's happens to be where most of my stuff is on the sides of the container. And these are burning hot. Yeah, those are really hot from the sun shining on them. So it'll help cool some of that down. Well, that's my hope anyways. It'll cool some of that stuff down, which will in turn cool my things down. And it won't get so hot in here. And I'll probably have the thermostat on the fan set to about, I don't know, 90 degrees, which sounds hot, but it's really not that bad considering it gets, you know, 140, 150 degrees in here. 90 degrees is not bad at all. And it doesn't get much below, you rarely see it below 90 here during the peak of the day in the summer. So it'll constantly be running during the day. Plus this thing's metal, it gets hot like an oven. It'll heat up well before it's 90 degrees outside. It'll get much hotter in here before that, so it'll kick on and hopefully help keep this thing cooler than it is. Even with these doors open all day long, this thing is just, it's hot as hell in here. I mean, you get back here and it's brutally hot back here. And you can feel the heat radiating off these walls because the sun's shining on the other side there. I mean, that's hot. Just getting close to it. So hopefully this whole vent system that I'm putting in will help cool it down a little bit, just so things don't like melt and explode in here. That's my hope. So let's go show you what the vents look like real quick. I picked them up at Home Depot, just simple vents. Threw a little bit of green paint on them. So here's the two vents, and if you could see up inside, they're screened. I don't know if you can see that on camera. There you go. They're screened, so little buggies and critters won't get in. I don't remember if my exhaust fan is screened or not. If it's not, I've got stuff that I can use to screen it off and keep, you know, critters and stuff out. Anyways, that's what I'm gonna do as far as that. My poor quad's been sitting out in the sun all day. This thing doesn't usually sit out in the sun. This thing is old. It's 2004, I think it is. 2004. Where'd you go? There you are. Oh. Well, I can't see it right now. It's 2004. There it is, 2003, sorry. 2003 looks pretty good for its age. It's because I keep it in the garage or, you know, in a trailer or a container. So runs like it's new. Runs great. No issues. I love this thing. It's a Honda 400EX. The only thing I wish it had was reverse. And I think they put reverse on these like the next year or two later. But I got legs. I can roll it back. Anyways, great machine. Love it. It's quick as hell. It's got aftermarket exhaust on it that I did not put on. My buddy did, who I bought it from. And he put a little jet kit in the carb. So sorry, got off on a little tangent there. Solar's doing good so far. Looks pretty good. It's been in float like forever. Floating right around 13.4. So this is the plan. I think I might have brought those batteries back. So the plan is this: I'm gonna plug everything in. The trailer's plugged in right now and running off the solar, but I'm gonna plug the cabin back in. That's got my surveillance in it, and I'm gonna plug the bug zapper back in. and run that off of it all night. And we'll see what the voltage looks like in the morning. And of course I'm gonna be watching TV in there tonight, and you know, lights and stuff. So we'll see what the voltage looks like in the morning. If it's around 12.2, 12.3, then I would say it's back to normal, because that's usually what it is when I get up in the morning after using power all night. Anywhere between 12.2 and 12.3. If I use a heavy usage, like I got people over and they're inside there playing video games and got lights on all night and all that crap, got the deep freezer going, the extra fridge over there, it's typically around 12.1 in the morning when I get up, before the sun has even touched the panels. So if the voltage will be down around 12.2, 12.3 in the morning, I think we're good on the battery bank. And then I'll watch the voltage throughout tomorrow before I leave, just to watch it go through the different phases, you know, the bulk, absorb, and float. I just want to make sure that all that process works, and then I think we're good to go on the batteries. I used the microwave earlier for about, I don't know, 4 minutes, and it didn't seem to affect it at all. Now, yeah, it's running off the solar, but I don't know how many watts that microwave pulls, along with everything else that I'm running at the same time. It's more than 1,000 watts, I'm sure of it. But the batteries had no problem with that and stayed in float. So I think we're good. We'll see. Keep my fingers crossed. Anyways, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna cut some holes in those doors there, get those vents mounted, and then I'll go on the other end there and start working on the exhaust fan. I gotta pull that out of the box and kind of figure out how I want to do it. It'll be interesting. I think I have a plan for it. It'll work. It's not probably the greatest way to do it, but it'll work. So essentially, at the end of this thing down there, I'm going to be cutting a big square in it. Well, this is not flat. It's, you know, it's got some contours to it. But the fan wants to mount flat, right? So I'm going to basically build a frame that's going to mount in the opening, and then I'm going to mount the fan to the wooden frame, is what I'm going to do. And then I'll just seal around it with silicone and then paint it. That's the plan. I don't know any other way to do this right now. Did a little bit of research online, and some people were doing it that way. So seems to be the easiest and the cheapest way to do it for now. So that's the plan, guys. I'm gonna get off here, put this camera down, and try to get something done today other than just solar. It's funny, I came up here to work on that with the vents and plant trees, and I ended up having a different issue, being the solar, which took quite a bit of my time trying to troubleshoot and then fix. So hey, stuff like that happens. So all right, I'm gonna get off here. I'll see you guys here in a little bit. All right, guys, it is almost 7 p.m. It's just starting to cool off. It's actually not bad at all now. All right, so I went ahead and put these vents in. They're the wrong color green, but they'll work. So, not too bad cutting. I went through one wheel. That's what's left of it. Cutting those two out. This was a new one. I got a bunch more over here, so no big deal there. Easy to cut, and they went right in. The hardest part was just getting them in the right spot, is where, you know, both sides, same spot. So, and it wasn't hard, that's just what took the most amount of time. Okay, here's the fan, the exhaust fan. And let me see if I can get this. All right. Okay, let me back you guys on up over here. All right. Here we go. So here's the fan. Oops, upside down. It's got some decent weight to it. It doesn't actually have an exact temperature that you set the thermostat to. And this thing's kind of awkward. The minimum is 32 degrees, and then it's got a mark over here for 80 degrees and then 130 degrees. So you got to kind of play with it once you get it installed to figure out where you want it to turn on, basically. So I think I'm going to be somewhere over here. Anyways, if I can turn it around, it's got these little, I guess you call them louvers. I don't like that word for some reason, it just sounds weird. They're on a, basically like a, not a track, but they move in unison basically. When this thing starts sucking air out of the container, these will open up. Keeps the rain out. Do I have a spider on me? No, I don't. Keeps the rain out and keeps critters out. Once it shuts off, it just closes. So this is the fan. I got it on Amazon. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it or what it's called. It's I don't know. It had pretty decent reviews. Pretty decent reviews. I don't see a name on it anywhere. Anyways, so that's the fan. I think I spent, let me get this stupid thing straight again. I think I spent like I want to say it was like 140 bucks, something around there. There's the manual for it. It's not much of a manual, but it's a manual. iLiving is what it says up top there. I don't remember which model this is. There's a ton of them on here. Don't know. I guess you can like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. I don't know. Anyways, I started building the frame for it. I built a frame for it out of 2x6 pressure treated, and it was just a hair, and I mean a hair too small. I thought I accounted enough for these little screws on the end here. Well, on both sides, I thought I counted enough for that, and I didn't. And I don't want to squeeze this thing together real tight. It should be, sorry guys. It should be not too tight on there so this thing can move freely and not cause any issues later on. So I started rebuilding another one, or cutting another one, and my dang batteries went dead. Both of them are dead. So they're busy charging right now. One of them's probably charged now. Keep these open. I went ahead and threw some silicone around these too. I actually threw it on the other side and it squeezed through. which is actually kind of what I wanted it to do to get a good seal. Anyways, it's still pretty hot in here. Yep, this one's done. You guys can't see. Turn that on. This one's done. This one needs to be charged. It's pretty hot in here still. It's probably about 92 degrees in here, if I had to guess. Battery bank is, it shows that it's happy. It's at 13 volts right now, and I was charging batteries, and currently charging a battery. So this little battery bank I have down here, it's working out pretty good. It's only 6 of these batteries, but you guys can't even see it. It's super dark in here. Is that better? Not really. It's just 6 of these Duracell golf cart batteries. Got them at Sam's Club. But it's plenty. Man, there's a dead mouse in here somewhere. I can smell it. Man, it stinks. You can really smell it down here. He's got to be back here somewhere. Sorry guys, I can really smell him. I don't know where he is. Anyways, this battery bank is plenty for charging batteries. Even charged this 40 volt in here earlier, and plenty power for the light, and I think it's going to be plenty power for that exhaust fan out there. I'll once I get it, I'm going to end up getting it installed tomorrow. It's getting kind of late. It's almost probably 7 o'clock now. Yep, 7 o'clock. So I'll end up getting it installed tomorrow. It shouldn't take me that long, really. I just got to drag a ladder around the back there and cut out my hole, bring generator around, cut out my hole, and then once I get the frame put together, I'm going to end up mounting it in there with some L brackets. And then I'll mount the fan to the wood frame, throw some silicone around it, and that'll be it. And then I'll just run an extension cord from my inverter over to the fan back there and kick it on, and we'll see if it can keep some of the heat down in there. I hope it does. I think with some cross ventilation in here, it'll be a bit cooler, because this thing's just an oven. It's a sun oven is what it is. And it has no ventilation. You know, it's funny, they got these little vents up here, and I'm sure you guys have seen them on shipping containers before. I think they're at both ends, I think, and on both sides. So you guys probably can't see it, but that's what it looks like on the inside. Just a few holes. Probably can't even see it. Those vents are a joke. They don't do anything. They really don't do anything. So yeah, I'm hoping this is gonna work. If it doesn't work well enough, I'm gonna end up putting probably a couple of whirlybirds up top. I really don't want to cut into the roof of this thing, but if I have to do it, I will. We'll see. These things are they're just too damn hot out here in the sun. And it doesn't matter, even if it's 20 degrees out here in the winter during the day. You walk into that thing after it's been closed up, and it's 78, 80 degrees in there. Just from all the radiant heat just collecting inside there. It's nice in the winter. It's great. You can go in there and hang out, and you're like nice and toasty. And you come back out here and you freeze. Hey, what are you doing? Crazy. So that is the update with the ventilation. Yep, I better go turn that light off. There's no sense in running it. I'm not in here. You know, for a cheap system, this EP Ever, it is a MPP solar charge control. It really is. It's cheap, very inexpensive. I think the max I can do on this one think this is a 30 amp. What should go on there? If he sees it, so here's something out there. Anyways, you guys, I don't know if you can see that. It's 30 amp, 12 or 24 volt. It says the max input power is 390 watts. I've got 400 watts up here, and it's not an issue, because your panels are never going to give you exactly what they're rated at 100% of the time. So 390 versus 400, it's not going to hurt anything. Works great in this application. Yeah, the charge controller, even though it's a cheapo, I've had it for several years. I haven't used it consistently for several years, probably total time maybe 6 months, I guess. It's not a long time, but I've used it in harsh conditions, so it seems to be working pretty good. And for a small application like this, no problem. I could easily get another one or two more. They sell larger models. They have like 40 amps. They've got, I think, 60 or 75 amps. Anyways, I can just get more and just keep adding to it if I want. If I'm going to run something heavier out here, as far as power wise, but I don't think I will. I'm not going to run a air compressor or any of that crap out here, because this system isn't really designed for that. This solar system isn't really designed for that. So air compressors, they pull a lot of current, especially on startup. I would run the air compressor off of the system over here, which I have. There goes a tarantula hawk. Those are nasty. Those are nasty, nasty. Yeah, on this system, absolutely. I've run air compressors off it before, and it's no issue. We'll see with the way the battery bank has been in the last couple weeks here. All right. I'm not going to try to upload any of these videos until I get back home. Because I left my good laptop at home. I have my other laptop here, but it doesn't have my video editing software on it, and I don't want to pay another, whatever it is, 120 bucks to put it on another computer. So, and my cell signal here, even with the booster going, is still just really crappy. I don't know what has happened. I talked about it a bit when I was here in April. I don't know if it's because everybody's out of work and they're just constantly online or on their phones or whatever. I don't know what it is. Or maybe putting the shipping container where it is somehow blocking some of the signal, because that's exactly where my antenna is pointed, is in the direction of the shipping container. So I don't know if that's affected it or not. I have no idea. But my signal quality here is really crap. I mean, I can watch like YouTube or Netflix, but it's not, it's in very low quality. Like, we're talking 480 or 360p, and sometimes it even buffers. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure something out. I think I may end up moving that antenna that's on top of the power room there. I may move it over to the far end of the shipping container and drop it down a bit. It seems like since I raised it, it got worse. So I'm thinking about putting it over there. I don't know if I'm going to lose signal quality because of the length of cord or cable I'm going to have to run, but I don't know. I'll come up with a solution. I'm going to probably end up putting the signal booster that's in the trailer, probably end up putting it in the cabin so we can shorten the distance a bit, so I don't have any voltage drop, or less voltage drop. And then I'll just run my Wi-Fi routers. I'll use them as extenders out to the trailer. Anyways, little tree update. I don't know if you guys can see it. I had some pine trees that started growing here in April from seeds that I threw out, and there's only a couple of them left. I don't know if you can see it down in there. There's one down inside that mulch there, and there's another one barely hanging on, kind of by that little rock, right to the left of that rock that's sitting at the edge of the mulch. I think the rest of them look like they've died off pretty much. This thing's dry as a bone, so I threw some water in here today, and that one that's in the mulch seems like it kind of perked up a little bit since I threw water in there, so pretty cool. All right, so let's go over to these ponderosas that I planted, I don't know, a year ago or so. All right, so my crappiest one that I really didn't like that much, it's finally died. I think I mentioned it earlier. It's dead for sure. And then these two over here, which are my best ones, I threw some water on them yesterday, and man, it was like a bottomless pit throwing that water in here. Never pooled up. I'm gonna end up putting some more water on it tomorrow before I leave. But they seem to perk up a little bit since I put the water on them, so that's cool. I think it's gonna start raining here maybe sometime in mid to late July. I think that's when we really start getting rain here in through August, so it'll be good for the trees. I think these trees are gonna end up being keepers here. They seem like they're doing pretty good. I mean, this is all new growth since I planted them here without, I haven't watered them in over a month, almost 2 months. So, it seemed like they've kind of set in. Get away from me, fly. Looking pretty good. I like them a lot. That's it for the trees. Everything else that I planted has died. Yeah, everything's died except for these ponderosas. These two, they seem to be very tolerant of all of the conditions here. They seem to be okay with the elevation. We're pretty high up, 6,300 feet. They're okay with the extreme cold in the winter and the lack of water that we've had this summer so far. They seem to be just fine. So I think they might survive here, which will be totally awesome. I'm gonna end up putting another ponderosa in place of that dead one there. I've got it out back behind the cabin. It's probably about, I don't know, 18 inches tall. So I think it'll it's gone through hell since I've had it. I've had it for about a year, I think. Maybe about 9 months. It's gone through hell. I've been times I forgot to water it for weeks, and I mean the dirt was just dry as a bone in the pot that it's in, and then throw water on it and it comes right back. So and it did very well here since I've been gone with no water. It seems like it grew some since I've been gone, so I'll end up throwing that over there in that hole where that dead one is, and it should do pretty good here. Aside from that, that's about it. Probably gonna shut it down tonight for this video. I'll give you guys updates tomorrow before I leave, and then I'm gonna try to come back in July, as long as my job doesn't keep me from getting away like it did this last 2 months, month and a half. So yeah, I'll be back up in here in July. I'll be planting more of this stuff that's over here that's still alive. And then in August, I'll be on vacation for a few weeks, first few weeks of August. So any of you that know me and know where I'm at, probably the first or second week of August, I'll be up here. I'll let you guys know more as time gets, as they get closer. There's that Ponderosa. Doesn't look like it's it doesn't look great, but it's a fighter, I'll say that. It's gone through hell for sure. I think my blueberry bush has had it. I think it's dying, completely dying. I've had this thing go dead on me several times, and I've thrown water on it and it's come back, but I think this time it's really not going to come back. And I've had that for several years. I started it from a cutting. Some of you might remember in my earlier videos. Anyways, all right, I'm going to shut this down because me and the dog, we're going to chill out for a bit, right? Yeah? Oh, such a pretty girl. You're such a pretty girl. We're going to chill out for a bit, listen to some music, relax. And then we're gonna go fire up the barbecue. Alright guys, I will see you guys later. You guys take care, be safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright guys, as I said before, I got everything plugged in. It's dark, pretty dark. Absolutely no power coming in on the panels, as you can see over there. Got the cabin plugged in, trailer, and the bug zapper. I love this thing. This thing just murders bugs by the thousands. It will leave a pile of bugs down here below it. It's amazing. And it only runs on like 22, 25 watts, something like that. It's pretty awesome. I have it on this little, you can't see it, but that red light, it's a little device that has a photo sensor on it. So I have it set to come on when it gets dark, and then it shuts off during daylight. Pretty cool. Got it on Amazon. I forget how much it was. Had really high reviews. I don't think it costs too much, but man, does it kill the bugs. Alright, got some brats going on right here. I know you can't see them because it's super dark. These are spicy brats. Never tried them before. Thought I'd give them a shot. Looks like they're about done. Yeah, I think they're done. I'm gonna turn this off. And shut the gas off. Where's that on? I can't see. It's dark. I don't have my glasses on. Close. I can't see which way it's pointing. Ay, ay, ay. It's great to be 40. Anyways, it's cooling off out here finally. It's actually perfect. I don't remember what the temperature is out here. Let's see if I can see through the window. It's 77 degrees out here. That's perfect. It's beautiful out here. It's great. Even though it's really hot during the day up here, it cools off nice at night, and it's really nice out here. You get to listen to the crickets. You get to listen to the crickets, and that's about it. There's nothing else out here. Just me and the crickets. That's the way I like it. What you doing, dog? All right, it's dinner time. All right, let you guys go. Take care, be safe. See you in the next video.